What if I told you Jon Robinson tells you his moves before he even makes them and all you had to do is listen? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to present you with proof too, so stay tuned here on Titan Town.
Fourth and goal, then you tighten. Kick a field goal, then you tighten. First and 10, then you tighten. Interception, then you tighten. Fourth and goal, then you tighten. Kick a field goal, then you tighten. First and 10, then you tighten. Interception, then you tighten. Tighten up, tighten up, tighten up, tighten up.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Titan Town. Today's video topic is talking about solving the secret of Jon Robinson. I think I cracked it, and I think I'm onto something. So comment and let me know after you watch this video and after I present you with the proof. If you think I'm right, if you think I'm onto something, if you think we can use this as a tool to predict Jon Robinson in the future, and I'm kind of split on whether or not I should even tell you, but I'm sure other GMs around the league have also picked up on it, especially GMs within our own division. So let's get to it. Let's go back in time to 2016, and it is January. The Titans have just hired Jon Robinson to be their general manager, and let's find out why the Titans made that decision to go with Jon Robinson over the other candidates. Here is Amy Adams Strunk herself.
We all know we got to protect Marcus. We have to have a plan for Marcus. We have to develop Marcus.
So Jon Robinson was hired because his goal or his plan for this team was centered around Marcus Mariota, specifically protecting Marcus Mariota. And Jon Robinson, leading up to the draft and free agency, even talked about his goal of protecting Marcus Mariota. Here's what Jon had to say about the subject.
On record saying it's important for us to protect Marcus, and there's various ways to do that. So,
certain position groups that you're focusing more on through this process, and maybe others.
Well, I mean, really all of them. I mean, I was obviously the offensive line, the defensive line, the running backs.
So for Jon Robinson and the new Titans management, the goal was to protect Marcus Mariota, to help him develop and help him to be that franchise quarterback that we all know that he can be. So what does Jon Robinson do? One of the first things he does is he swaps fourth-round draft picks with the Philadelphia Eagles to bring in DeMarco Murray. Good running back is a quarterback's best friend, especially when they have a good offensive line. But the Titans' offensive line wasn't there yet. The next thing Jon Robinson did, and many fans hated it, including myself, we went and traded DGB, a wide receiver with all the upside in the world, who we had spent a second-round draft pick on, for a tackle that none of us had never heard of in Dennis Kelly. And everyone hated the pick, but it turned out that it worked out. But then there was another theme to this draft, and that was trades. Here's what Jon Robinson had to say about the trades.
We'll look at any and all offers that come this way and make a decision that's best for the football team.
And by the way, guys, I wanted to apologize for any audio now or in the future that is a little bit shoddy. I had to dive deep into the Titans archives to find this audio, and my computer wouldn't never load it up, so I couldn't load it onto my computer. I had to play it through my phone into my microphone. So if any of the audio is a little bit shoddy, I do apologize for that. And there were also some things that I couldn't find, so I'm going to take you on a trip down memory lane. If you love the Titans back in 2016 or before 2016, headed into 2016, and when Jon Robinson got hired, you remember there was a catchphrase that Jon Robinson said all the time that year, and I just couldn't find any clips of him saying it, and that is, "My phone is always on. We're open for business. I always have my phone on me." He was always saying that. He even went further to talk about trades. He kept putting it in the media. We're looking to trade, but you got to give us something good. We would end up trading with the LA Rams. Here's another clip of him talking about trades, which he did a lot this year.
Whether we stick and pick, like I've said before, or whether we get an offer that we really can't turn down. Again, like I said earlier, whether we pick an impact player or whether we acquire more picks via trade.
So the theme for 2016 for Jon Robinson was, first, protecting Marcus Mariota, and second, let's make a deal in this draft so we can get more picks and plug more holes in our roster. The first thing Jon Robinson did was make a trade for DeMarco Murray, as I mentioned earlier. The second thing he did was trade DGB for Dennis Kelly. Then draft night rolls around, we made the trade a little before draft night. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we made a deal with the now LA Rams. They got the #1 overall pick. We got their first for this year, next year, and 3 seconds and a third. We would end up giving up our second for the next year for 2017. But with our first 4 picks, we took another offensive tackle in Jack Conklin, who would come in and be a All-Pro right away. We picked Kevin Dodd, who is now considered to be a bust, and I do consider him that way myself. In the second round with our first pick. With our next pick, we went and got Austin Johnson. And with our last pick in the second round, we went and got Derrick Henry. So we kind of went above and beyond expectations when we started talking about being an exotic smash mouth team, a power run team. We not only went and got DeMarco Murray, we got the second best at the time running back in the draft class, who was a huge guy, who a lot of people thought was a defensive end, and Derrick Henry to make a powerful 1-2 punch combo. But now, let's move on to 2017. There's 2 themes in 2017. There always seems to be a theme, and this theme was we need a wide receiver, and we need to address special teams. And also, we're going to look and turn over every stone, every rock. If you remember, this is one I don't have a clip for, but you remember Jon Robinson talking about we don't care if they come from a small school. We actually prefer it. Guys who have been told no and didn't let that stop them and still performed at a high level, even against lesser competition. And then once the competition got better at the Senior Bowl and the Combine and things like that, they still was able to come out and perform. So as for wide receiver, let's see what Jon Robinson had to say about the subject.
Most important quality is dependability. Like when he's supposed to run the route and he's supposed to be 15 yards and he's coming back to 12, he's at 15 yards and he comes back to 12. The ability to get open and the ability to catch the football. Like we're not going to throw the football to him if he can't catch it.
So to start, Jon Robinson said the wide receiver has to be the dependable. He has to be able to get open, catch the football, and run the right routes. Now, really, this next part of the video is where this whole video that I'm doing now came to fruition, because this is kind of where it dawned on me that Corey Davis is going to be a wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. And this is where I really started to realize that, hey, Jon Robinson told us that Corey Davis was going to be a wide receiver for the Titans. You just had to put 2 and 2 together. And then looking at what he was saying going into the 2018 NFL draft, I realized I was kind of right again. So I went all the way back to 2016 and did some more studying on what he said before the draft and realized that you could have put 2 and 2 together for that draft as well. So this is what Jon Robinson said that let me know for definitely sure that Corey Davis was going to be a Tennessee Titan.
I think we've said it multiple times. There's really 2 things, and we've incorporated a third. Get open, catch, and block.
So the theme was for the Tennessee Titans this year to turn over every stone, even looking at the smaller schools for players who are draft eligible to find studs in those schools as well, and to get Marcus Mariota some weapons. Corey Davis happened to be from a smaller school and one of the top receivers in this draft. But what are the Titans looking for? They're looking for a receiver who can get open, catch the football, and block. When it came to route running, Corey Davis ran more routes than any other wide receiver in college that year. Well, maybe not more than any other, but more than any of the top 3 receivers. He ran a more wide range of routes. He had the size and athleticism combo, although he was dealing with some injuries and he didn't get to run at the Combine. But just watching his film, I would have believed that he would probably run in the 4.4s, quicker than a 4.5 for sure, because he just outran cornerbacks like it wasn't nothing, even though they were lesser competition. He also had a good game against Wisconsin, who is a bigger school, but what made Corey Davis stand head and shoulders above all the rest of the wide receiver candidates was Corey Davis was a blocker. He was a physical blocker. He would put his face mask in the cornerback or the safety's chest and just completely take them out of plays, whether it was a screen pass to one of the other wide receivers, whether the running back was running with the football, whether the quarterback was running with the football. Corey Davis was a willing and able blocker. And after looking at the film and hearing Jon Robinson say that, then I knew automatically Corey Davis was going to be a Tennessee Titan. But the Titans also had a glaring need at cornerback, although the Titans didn't talk cornerback as much because it was pretty obvious that the Titans needed a cornerback, so they went and signed Logan Ryan. But they was also talking a lot about special teams. Here's what Jon Robinson had to say about special teams.
Important piece of that is the kicking game and being able to find contributors to special teams, because that's an important phase to us.
The Titans would then sign Brendan Trawick and Darren Bates in free agency that year, even early on in free agency, and neither had much production on the defensive side of the ball, where they was actually slotted as a linebacker and safety respectively. But all their production came from special teams. So special team was a very clear indicator something was up with special teams for the Titans. That was something they was really focusing on. So the Titans would go ahead and sign those two guys. But the Titans would still need a cornerback, and they would go and draft Adoree Jackson at 18 overall, who many believe that was a reach, and I myself had a mid-second round grade on Adoree. But luckily, we were all wrong, given that Dick LeBeau was on our coaching staff, and he was able to bring him up and develop him rather quickly. Here's some more about what Jon Robinson had to say about special teams.
Special teams, and those two guys in particular, and Weems and Palmer, the guys that we have currently on the team, there's a strategic element to that. If we can flip the field position, get our offense the ball back in the most advantageous position so that we can score quickly, or from a defensive standpoint, pin them back and kind of put a stress on the opponent's offense, that's an important factor in the game, and it can determine the outcome of the game.
So the themes for 2017 was get Marcus Mariota some weapons to throw to, fix our special teams play and become a really good special teams team, and flip over every stone, even the smaller schools, to find good talent for our football team. And our first 4 picks would include 3 picks from smaller schools and also 3 picks as a weapon for Marcus Mariota. Corey Davis, wide receiver, Western Michigan. Taywan Taylor, wide receiver, Western Kentucky. Jonnu Smith, tight end, somewhere in Florida. I think it was Central Florida. I can't remember, honestly. It's been too long ago, I guess, because he was a guy that I hadn't heard of before the draft. I try to scout about 200 players each year for the draft. But anyways, we also took Adoree Jackson, who was a dynamic special teams player who also played cornerback, which also happened to be a glaring need for our team. So in actuality, you could have put 2 and 2 together. And the thing with Jon Robinson is he doesn't only tell you what he's going to do, he goes way overboard with it. Year 1, protect Marcus Mariota, take offensive linemen and 2 really good running backs. Year 2, find Marcus Mariota some weapons, fix special teams, sign 3 really good 2 in free agency, and then drafted a really good special teams player. And then we turned around and got 3 players from smaller schools, 3 weapons for Marcus Mariota to throw to. Now let's move on to the 2018 NFL Draft. And here's the theme that Jon Robinson had for this draft class.
But, we'll monitor the draft. We'll monitor those 24 spots in front of us. And if there's a player that, that we really like and he's within striking distance, we'll move up. We'll monitor, teams behind us that might want to come up to our pick. That's the part of working the draft.
So there was also some chatter before the 2018 NFL Draft about Jon Robinson talking about trading down and trading out of the first round completely. I didn't really buy that, though, because the Titans really need to add some youth to their front 7 because everybody's old. Wesley Woodyard's old. Derek Morgan's old. Brian Orakpo's old. Will Compton is exactly old, but he's not exactly young either. And the young guys that we have are unproven. So we really need to add some youth to our front 7. But we also needed to, if we would have traded back out of the first round, we wouldn't have been able to pick up that 5th-year option, which is very important. It keeps young players there for an extra year before you really have to pay them. So I didn't really feel like we was going to trade back, although it wouldn't have surprised me if we did. But I just had that gut feeling that we was going to trade up. And Jon Robinson even talked about it some more. Here's what he had to say.
If there's a player on the board that we really like, and we don't think he will make it to us, and we don't, like Jim said, we only have 6 picks. We don't want to give up too much draft currency to move up if we don't have to. But that team may be staring at, that maybe their player's gone that they were going to take, and they're willing to mortgage it for, next to nothing.
Not only did Jon Robinson end up trading up in the first round, he traded up every pick we had all the way up until he couldn't trade up anymore. He traded up for Rashaan Evans, of course. He traded up for Harold Landry. He traded up for Dane Cruikshank. He didn't trade up for Luke Falk because he couldn't unless he wanted to mortgage next year's draft picks, and I'm glad he didn't do that. But another thing, when you only draft 4 players, those undrafted free agents become very important. And Jon Robinson knew that leading up to the draft, and this is what he had to say about it before the draft actually happened.
To post-draft guys, making sure we do a good job combing over everything there.
The Titans would end up signing 20 undrafted free agents out of the free agency, and probably 4 or 5 of them were actually good enough to be drafted and actually have a real shot at making this roster. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet. This video took a lot of work. I thought it was going to take me about 2 to 3 days to finish, but I ended up finishing it in a day. But I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning working, combing over old press conferences and old interviews with Jon Robinson, trying to find everything. So hope you'd enjoyed it. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is when Jon Robinson speaks, listen to him, and you can get some real information from him. You know, if you just listen and kind of put 2 and 2 together, he's not going to tell you his hand because he don't want other teams to know. But if you put 2 and 2 together, you can figure out what Jon Robinson is doing, and that really dawned on me from listening to what Jon Robinson had to say about what he wanted in a wide receiver, and watching Corey Davis's film and putting 2 and 2 together to realize that Corey Davis was going to be a Tennessee Titan. When it actually happened, it kind of clicked to me. And then going into this year's draft, how he talked about how he might be wanting to trade up, and I feel like trading up would be the smarter option for this year. And it actually happened. So I went all the way back to 2016. I was like, well, you know, you could have put 2 and 2 together in that draft as well. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. God bless, and tighten up.